Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm sorry I was a little bit absent over the last sort of month or so, or I think it's been over 40 days since my last video, which was definitely not something I planned. I mean, honestly, as you've heard from me multiple times now, the plan is to be coming out with videos like this multiple times a week to entertain you guys, or both hopefully entertain and educate you guys. But I just ended up being a little bit busier than expected, just sort of through the back end of Q4 last year, putting together and releasing the curriculum for GPP level 2, which that is out now. So I'll leave a link down below if you want to purchase that. And as soon as we wrapped up the launch sale for GPP level 2, that was straight into a big surf trip around New Zealand where, again, the plan was to be a little bit more consistent with content, but then just because I worked so hard through the Christmas New Year period, I decided to give myself a little bit of a break. And as much as the trip was amazing and the break was somewhat enjoyable, like it's great to just put down the tools. Historically, all the travel that I've done over the last sort of 3 years or so, I've maintained a pretty damn consistent work schedule throughout all of it. And this time it was nice to just genuinely have a little bit of a holiday. But then the downside of that, like I was talking with my mentorship group or all the GPP level 1 coaches, like God, you soften up quick. Like when you're doing Instagram posts or podcasts or YouTube videos or whatever it is regularly, it just gets more and more and more effortless. It just becomes something that you do. It's no different to training. Whereas, you know, I sort of think sometimes like, oh, I'm too strict on myself with my schedule. Like a lot of you who followed me for a while, or especially if you've been through my mentorships or any of my courses, you'll know that I had this period that was probably like 3.5 years where I didn't miss a single day on Instagram. And I've definitely relaxed on that now, but if anything, I feel like it's made content creation more difficult, not easier. And so that's why I'm coming to you in a little bit of a sweaty mess today. Like I just finished training. It is a sweltering day. It's like 35 degrees. I'm essentially recording this in a tin shed. I've probably got to start speaking a little bit faster to get through this because my GoPro is going to overheat any second now. But yeah, if there's anything you can take away from this little ramble, it's like just with your Instagram content or with whatever it is you like to put out, just the more consistent you can be with it, the easier it's going to be. Posting 5 to 7 days a week is easier than posting 2 to 3 times a week. And I tell you what, posting 5 to 7 times a week is going to do a whole lot more for the development of your business and your personal brand anyway. So just commit to the more intensive schedule and just level up. Don't shrink and get weaker and, you know, giving yourself a break from posting. It's just, yes, you should give yourself a break occasionally, but I just generally think the more frequent your schedule is, the less friction you'll feel around doing content. Anyway, this wasn't meant to be a video about content creation, even though it is heavily inspired by a lot of the content that I've seen criticizing certain ideas. So let's dive into the guts of this video. And so what I want to break down in this video is why I believe biomechanics is overemphasized when it comes to training outcomes, practices, or as well rehab practices and outcomes, or just general coaching education, this overemphasis of complex biomechanics. I wanted to talk about what embracing complexity actually means when it comes to coaching practices and driving certain outcomes. And then throughout that, we're also going to analyze some of the stupid criticisms that a lot of these biomechanics obsessed coaching educators make about the biopsychosocial model. And so all these biomechanics obsessed coaches, educators, content creators, whatever bucket you want to put these people into, whenever they hear coaches like me discussing this idea that the role of biomechanics is dramatically overemphasized when it comes to coaching decisions or driving training or rehab outcomes, they love to paint this narrative or this great straw man that if you're not utterly obsessed with the complexities of biomechanics, that all you care about is psychosocial factors, that you're rejecting essentially the B of the BPS model. And it's funny because what these coaches are really highlighting is that they haven't even fully embraced the B of the BPS model themselves. Because the B in BPS or biopsychosocial, it doesn't stand for biomechanics, it stands for biology. And don't worry, I used to get this confused as well when I first got introduced to the model. This is why I'm here to educate you. And it's really frustrating as someone who embraces this biopsychosocial model to be strawmans by these coaches who aren't even embracing the full spectrum of biological factors that impact training. Don't accuse us of overemphasizing psychosocial factors when you can't even nail the first letter of a 3-letter acronym. And like, look, it is complex, I won't deny that, but that's why sometimes I think a lot of these biomechanics obsessed coaches need to spend more time sitting down with their ears open and their mouth shut, rather than just like, yap, feeling attacked when people are saying that biomechanics isn't everything, because it's just not. And even though I do think a fully biopsychosocial approach to either training or rehab is the absolute gold standard, honestly, I'd be stoked if these biomechanics obsessed people could just fully embrace the B. Let's completely chop off the PS, throw it in the bin. Let's pretend that psychosocial factors don't matter at all. They do. And if you want to go down that rabbit hole, check out my courses. I mean, all you have to do is Google the model and it's spelled out in front of you. Key biological factors in the BPS model: genetics, lifestyle factors, physical or metabolic health, all your load management and programming. This is all the stuff that you're ignoring when you're looking through the world at the straw that is biomechanics. Biomechanics definitely do matter, and you can't be completely ignorant to all of biomechanics if you want to be a decent coach, but that's not really what anyone's saying. And so just by fully embracing just the B of the biopsychosocial model, you end up with this understanding that all of these things are multivariable. It doesn't just come down to biomechanics. It's always going to come down to the complex and unpredictable interplay of all of these variables. And so what embracing complexity means in this context is not just going down a biomechanical rabbit hole, but respecting that in a multivariable system, it's actually impossible to predict the true interplay or the effect of all these variables on one another. Like, we can make educated guesses, but again, we're always sort of operating from this place of a little bit of uncertainty and keeping an open mind. And it steers us away from saying stupid shit like, oh, your back hurts because you flex your spine too much, or your squat sucks because you don't have enough hip internal rotation. It's like, maybe that's a contributing factor, but we're always keeping an open mind and trying to acknowledge all of the variables that are likely impacting this situation. Again, we still haven't brought any psychosocial factors into this. We've kept this conversation entirely biological, and we've still arrived at this complex, multivariate system, haven't we? And so once you come to this understanding, I just don't understand why you'd be so hell-bent on yourself going down, but also, all these biomechanics educators dragging all these coaches with them down this intense biomechanical rabbit hole without taking a single step down all these other rabbit holes that you're presented with. And then having the gall to pretend that BPS practitioners don't want to embrace complexity because we reject all this neuroticism around biomechanics. It's just stupid. And so to be clear, in closing, what I want to say is biomechanics is cool. Biomechanics is interesting. Biomechanics definitely matter to some extent, but it's never the full picture, and you're doing yourself, your clients, whether they're training clients or clients and coaches that you're educating, you're doing them a massive disservice by teaching them to look at the world through a straw. You're not improving training outcomes, you're often making the subjective experience much worse, and you'd be far better off if you just swallowed the BPS pill. It can go down strange sometimes, and it can lead you to some uncomfortable conversations or some uncomfortable revelations about what you've been doing and the things you've been saying and your entire training model, but I assure you it's worth it. And if you want to come down that rabbit hole, I will take you there. Sign up to GPP level 1 and I'll hold your hand throughout the entire process. I didn't just learn about this model from social media posts. I've been stewing on this shit for the better part of a decade, and I truly live and breathe it. Anyway, I'm sorry about the big break from content. I'm not gonna make all these claims about my upcoming YouTube schedule. It's just, I'll see you when I see you. No more empty promises, but I will see you soon.